So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about this culture of accountability. I want us to develop a culture. And if you don't think your team's got a culture, you just haven't thought about it. Your team has a culture. Any team that's been together for any period of time, you've got a culture. I want to develop a culture where following through is the norm. Have you seen teams where following through is the exception? And where we just kind of expect, sometimes I call it meeting deja vu. It's like we have a meeting, we talk about something, oh, somebody said they were going to do that, but nobody really wrote anything down. We started talking about something else. Next thing you know, 2 meetings later, the same issue comes up. And then we're like, well, didn't somebody say they were going to do something? Or didn't we talk about that last month? And it's just kind of in the ether somewhere, okay? Very common. So I want to develop a culture where no, following through is the norm. That's what we expect. Because I promise you, people will change their behavior to match the culture. It happens every time. Their meetings, in terms of when they start, that can be part of your culture. Aren't there some meetings that you go to that they start on time? But then there are other meetings. How many? Raise your hand if you've got meetings that you know the meeting is not going to start on time. Okay? You could just predict that. Okay? And because you know that, then what do? You show up late. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I have a girlfriend. We used to meet for a happy hour every Friday after work. And then she was notoriously late. I mean, I don't mean 5 minutes late. I mean 30 minutes late, 45 minutes late. It got to the point where I would not show up for at least 35 minutes after our scheduled time because I knew she wasn't going to be there. Okay, and I didn't want to be there sitting there twiddling my thumbs. So that's what I mean. If you want to have a culture that says we start our meetings on time, you've got to do that from the very beginning, and you've got to insist on it. And what you shouldn't do is what I see a lot of people do. They try to be real lenient at the beginning because they're in that forming stage, and I'm trying to be nice, and I want people to like me and all of that. And so they start late for the first 5, 6, 7, 8 meetings, and then they're like, ooh, this isn't working. And maybe first it was just 5 minutes late. Next thing you know, it's like all the meetings are starting 15 minutes late, and it's really costing the team some time. And then they try to clamp down. So basically what they did was they were too far on the relationship side, and then they tried to swing way back over to the task side, and then the team members are looking at them like, what is wrong with her? You know, she's acting crazy. So if anything, be real clear about those ground rules, about the environment you want to have from the beginning. And it doesn't mean you're overly harsh or you're cracking the whip, because in most cases, I'm not going to be the one to develop those. I'm going to get those from the team. We're going to talk about that in a minute, just what you said about the ground rules. But I want peers to hold each other responsible. I'm not holding you responsible. You're not my child. I want to get out of that sort of relationship. I want us to hold each other accountable as a team. The focus is on producing results, and then team members pitch in, because we do realize maybe she did have a crisis that she had to run to. But I want us to have a culture where we're willing to pitch in for one another. I want it to be team-centric as opposed to PM versus the team, and having that tension there.